All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the April 12th, 2022 occurrence of the Brigade Community Meeting. I will share my screen and we can go through today's agenda. Can everybody see this? And is it big enough?
Yep.
Okay, it's readable at this size.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll try to get through this relatively quickly. Oh, let me add Philippe to the list of attendees. Okay, and he said he was coming, but we'll probably get removed if he doesn't show up. Okay, so today's agenda, I just structured it kind of like almost like a stand-up or a retrospective. I'm just going to quickly cover what's happened in the last 2 weeks and what I'm hoping gets accomplished in the next 2 weeks. And that's really all I have to discuss. If anybody else has agenda items, we can add them to the end. So feel free to pop into the document right now if you want to add any agenda items, that's fine. And please, everybody, always feel welcome to add to the agenda. This isn't just for the maintainers to set the agenda. We want the community to be able to set the agenda as well. Okay, so what's happened in the last 2 weeks? A lot of work has gone into improving and documenting the developer experience. We found a few tools that have made things a lot easier. We used to have like a lot of hacky make targets and scripts and things like that that would build from source and deploy to a local Kubernetes cluster, like a kind cluster or something like that. And it was really all kind of, very Brigade specific and didn't always entirely meet our needs. We found some good tools. One of them is called, it's CTL PTL. It's up to you how you want to pronounce that. Some of the pronunciations are like cattle paddle or cuddle puddle or cattle patrol. But it's a nice way of very quickly bringing up clusters with a local Docker registry attached to the cluster. So we've been using that lately. And we also found Tilt, which is just an incredible tool that we discovered. Jorge, George, I don't know if you've played with Tilt at all before, but it's absolutely amazing. It integrates with your Docker files and your charts and everything, and it just builds from source. It will build multiple components in parallel and deploys them, and it will watch the code for changes and automatically refresh. Or the way we have it set up, it will watch the code for changes and notify you that there are changes and give you the option to refresh, because I found that it was a little too much for my CPU if I just let it build and refresh all the time. So it's really an incredible tool, and it's making it a lot easier to hack on Brigade and to hack on each of the peripherals. So we've started using that in the past couple of weeks, and we've also created an updated contributor guide that talks about the tools that we use. So all of this is obviously being done in the name of growing a more sustainable community, more sustainable group of contributors. We want to make things as easy and productive as possible for everybody. So a lot of effort went into that over the last 2 weeks. We also added a feature that was requested from a community member. It was the ability to use an externally hosted MongoDB database. That's actually a feature I had wanted from the beginning, but it got cut from 2.0 right before we went GA because it wasn't tested well enough. We decided we could go and put it back later. So now that it's been requested, we went and we did that. It's not released yet. it will go out in the 2.4.0 release. Also, since, I don't know, 2.2 or so, we've had something called Fallible Jobs. So we've had the option that you can mark a Brigade job as fallible. And by doing so, what happens is if that job fails, it doesn't make the entire workflow fail. Well, until now, the worker has kept that information to itself. It hasn't shared it with the API server when it creates the jobs. We've made it start sharing that information. And the benefit to that is that now, if you have gateways that create jobs and follow up on those jobs, monitor their status, and report the status, upstream to where the event originally came from. Good example would be the GitHub gateway. The GitHub gateway creates events, but then it follows up on those events, checking the status of any job that's associated with that event. And it uses the GitHub check API to report the status back to GitHub. I apologize for the barking dog in the background. Hopefully you can all still hear me. So we've had that for a while, but now that this information is about a job being fallible or not is shared with the API server, now the gateways have access to that information. And because they have access to that information, they have choices now about how they report event status or job status upstream to the source of the event. So in the case of like the GitHub gateway, for instance, we've built in an option that if a job is considered fallible and you've opted into this, it can report failed jobs with a neutral status instead of a failed status, which is nice because when you go and you look at the check suite in GitHub, something that you intended to be allowed to fail isn't going to make the whole workflow show up with a nasty red X. So that's something that we've done in the last 2 weeks. Also, I've been spending. Oh, what's that, George?
That's a nice one. The Fallible Jobs is a nice to have. And the MongoDB, I want to test the CosmoDB on Azure or another database as well to see how that works.
Yeah, I can tell you it won't work with Cosmos DB because Cosmos and Mongo are only compatible like on the wire. It's the same protocol between client and server, but on the server side, it doesn't support all of the same queries that Mongo supports. So I do know already that this does not work with Cosmos DB, unfortunately.
Okay.
I have also been spending a lot of time reviewing applications from candidates who would like to work with us for Google Summer of Code 2022. I've been giving them feedback whenever they request it on their proposals, and pretty soon myself and other maintainers, if they want to get involved, we have to vote on which of the proposals, if any, that we want to accept. There's still no guarantee that those projects will get selected because CNCF as a whole generated many dozens of project ideas, and there's no guarantee that Google accepts all of those projects. So basically I can give a recommendation, but it doesn't mean for sure that anything will be accepted. I also see that the Hindi translation of the Getting Started docs is almost complete. So hopefully that's merged within the next few days, and we can have our first case of documentation offered in another language. And I think Karen may be jumping in and adding more notes. So thanks, Karen. Is that you or somebody else?
That was me. Or I added the last item about the office hours.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. So as for what I hope we get done over the next couple of weeks, I have to start work on the annual project review for the CNCF Technical Oversight Committee. And Karen, I might ask you for a little bit of help with that, but I think I can mostly do it myself. I, again, have to continue reviewing GSOC proposals. I have an in-progress blog post to write about image security. So we did talk about that at the last community meeting. We've done a lot in the recent weeks to improve image security. So we're scanning images that we create as part of our CI process. We're creating and publishing SBOMs as part of our release process. So there's going to be a blog post about that. Brigade 240 release is coming up. I think we basically have a third release candidate ready today. So I expect to release that within the next few days. Also another release of the GitHub gateway. This goes back to what I was talking about earlier about improved support for fallible jobs. So we want to get that in there so that we ourselves can take advantage of that sooner rather than later. And then I'm going to focus on finally releasing some of the other peripherals, probably the Bitbucket gateway and the noisy neighbor component, just because those seem like they require the least effort right now to get them across the line. So if they really are low on effort, I'm just going to go ahead and get them done. My stretch goal is a video adaptation of our new contributor guide, which I mentioned earlier that we updated a lot of the tools that we're using. And I'd like to create a short video about that. Again, just in the name of building a more, a larger and more sustainable community of contributors. So that's all that I have to talk about, and I'll turn it over to Karen to talk about office hours.
Yeah, okay. This is just office hours, the virtual office hours that we'll be participating in as part of KubeCon. So our slot is going to be on May 18th. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have stopped sharing.
Oh, no, it's okay. Okay, so I think it's okay. Central European time, it's going to be 3:30 to 4:15 in the afternoon. And then for East Coast US time, it's going to be 9:30 to 10:15 a.m. East Coast time. So Ken, I will send you, I think, or yeah, I'll update the calendar invite and invite you. But if anyone would like to participate, you can click on the link and it will have you register through CNCF's community bevy platform that they use. And it's basically just like Google Hangouts with the skin on top. But yeah, hope you can join us, spread the word. And yeah, like I said,
Karen, one question about that.
Yeah.
So you were just doing the time zone math for us, right?
Yeah.
That's not two separate slots, like one for US and one for Europe, right? Okay.
Yeah. It is what we have, one 45-minute session.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Just checking. You were doing the time zone math for us, which is great. Thanks. I wasn't sure if it was that or if it was actually two separate slots. Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for setting all of that up for us.
Kent, for me on the next 2 weeks, if you want to add, I'm going to start the translation for Portuguese. Felipe, if you want to help, or we need to get started, then the other people can join and help in some pace. And the cron job blog, see if I can get on the next 2 days.
Sure.
We have Easter holiday coming in Australia, have Friday and Monday public holiday, but try to get the blog first and start the translation. And another thing is another gateway that I want to start from that list that we discussed, I think was Teams or Discord server. Mm-hmm. Maybe start on Discord server.
I hear Discord has very good docs, so that's probably the easier one to start with.
Yep, start on this one. And there is another thing, the 5 minutes videos. I can do the cron job one.
Okay, awesome.
And Felipe, Humberto, if you guys want to do like a 5 minutes video in Portuguese explaining Brigade, like the similar as Ken did in English, you can start like a Portuguese series as well.
Awesome.
I think that was my plan. Sorry, got COVID. Hopefully I can come back and people can help as well. Thanks for having this second time zone for us.
Oh, sure. This occurrence that happens later in the day, well, later in the day for me, this is the better attended of the two that we offer.
That's great.
Let's see.
Philippe, sounds good. The idea, the short videos in Portuguese, the translation.
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Looks good to me.
Great. And KubeCon, I think we can promote that as well. And the local development, I want to have a look and see the other. I just recorded about Rancher Desktop yesterday. Is another option for people using local Kubernetes. I'm going to publish on Azure these. What I did with like Nuno do Carmo, that's from SUSE. And we require about Rancher Desktop as local development could be an option for someone looking for. And it's nice because we work on Linux, Mac, and Windows.
Oh yeah. Also, that's now that you've just said that, you reminded me of something else that's worth mentioning. Within the past few days, we also cleared up an issue that was making it impossible to build everything on an M1 Mac. But that is fixed now. So if anybody has tried that and had difficulty, that's been remediated.
Okay, nice. Yep, that was.
Okay, so I think that's it for today. So thank you everybody for coming, and I will get this posted to YouTube tomorrow.
Thanks everyone.
All right, thank you everybody. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.